Good evening. It's Tuesday night. Here we are again.
Here we are.
If you're just joining us for the first time, this is your Tuesday night writing group. We meet on Tuesday nights and Friday mornings. You carve out 2 hours and we show up. We give you some writing prompts, a little tip. Then you write for an hour and a half and then you come back and tell us how it went. That's what we do. This is the Writer's Adventure, and everything we do is about giving you the seemingly random tools you need that aren't random to be in this adventure of writing and to create a life where you have a practice of writing. So thanks for being here. Tonight, when Mary Beth and I were checking in, I was telling her about someone I'm working with who is moving from the place of information. They've built a great outline with all the information that they know they want to cover. And now it's time for that person to step into making a choice about the words on the page and where do those words come from. So we often talk about this as what's the voice of the book. And there's lots of ways that Mary Beth and I talk about how voice emerges, how to follow a voice. Like there's just tons of ways we can get into that. But what we wanted to open up today is one specific way you can try to sort out what is the voice. And some of you may already have your voice, so you're like, whatever, but still use this. Go ahead, Mary Beth.
Yeah. And I guess, I really want to emphasize, I think voice is not something you should get caught up on. You have it. Everyone has it. It's inside us. And it's going to come onto the page. It's going to spill onto the page. I guarantee it. And after it does, then we'll hone it and we'll make it refined, and we'll, the voice will develop in editing and in further drafts. I don't think it's a thing that you need to overanalyze, but if it is something that you're getting stuck on, I think a great way to deal with that is to think about who you're making a connection with.
Say more about that.
Well, it's funny. I had the New York Times up earlier, and it's like, okay, this is a newspaper. I'm speaking to everyone. This is objectivity. Well, there's no such thing. The New York Times, it's like those reporters, I'm going to write about the latest widget, blah, 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 blah. That person is like thinking, okay, well, I'm writing about this new kind of cork wine bottle opener thingy mabobby. They're imagining someone that would be at their dinner party and maybe struggling to open a bottle of wine. And they're going like, yeah, well, we had this conversation about like, damn it, these old corks just don't work. And shouldn't someone invent something better? They're going to go to this story and they're going to have a conversation in their head or go back to a conversation that they had with someone. Right. And that informs the voice.
Mm-hmm. You know where I like to go with that? Because some people are really, really strong and it's super liberating for them to go, this is the one person I'm talking to. And that's a great one. I love that one. That unfortunately for me, that kind of strings me up but I love it because it's way easier to talk to one person than it is to talk to 80,000 people. Like who's that one person? And so that's a great one. That's a great way in. What works for me around, like to even get to that one person where I feel free, I actually think, where am I talking to somebody? Am I at a dinner table? Am I at a podium? Am I, yelling? Am I yelling in the doorway? Where, for me, to get to that one person, I have to situate myself. Because for me, the tone of voice I'm taking seems to be how I figure out who I'm talking to. Just want to offer that. But the question is, who are you talking to?
Yeah, that's a really good one. Who are you talking to? Where are you talking to them? What's your medium is another one.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Am I writing a letter? Am I on the speech? Am I giving a speech? Or, maybe, it's that thing where it's like, okay, I've got this contentious issue I have to bring up with someone. So I'm actually going to write it down first, what I really want to say.
Yeah.
Ever done that?
Yeah, totally. Oh
You
my
know,
God.
or think about, okay, I'm going to use the language of nonviolent communication to de-escalate this, right?
Yeah. So
We are always conscious, our level of consciousness about the words we choose, it changes depending on how self-conscious we are in that moment and what we need to achieve and all that. But I think tapping into recognizing your own process around communication is really helpful.
You know what I love? Who are you talking to is a way bigger access point into writing than just naming the who. Because, like, if I am talking to you, for example, when I put you in my head, there's a whole relationship that we have, and there's a way that we talk, and there's a history that we have that informs how I talk to you. Right. But by pinpointing the who, it's like, let the pinpoint happen and then let all the things that open up because of that be there too.
Right. So if I were writing a book, but I were actually in my head, I was writing it to you, we might go, I might hand that to an editor or my writing coach, say, and they'd look at it in the first draft and they'd be like, this feels like a bunch of inside jokes that I'm not getting right now. Right. And that's okay. That's okay. Maybe we decide to take those inside jokes out. But if they help me as a writer to get things on the page, then that's what I'm talking about when I said refining the voice later on, right? It's like, let's make a decision, walk forward with that decision until we get to the next point.
Yeah.
And then we'll make more decisions.
Mm-hmm. Because
process.
We just as we talked about on Friday, how did we get here? These kinds of questions are both beginnings and endings. So like who am I talking to opens up the freedom of all the things we just said, tone, all that. But then it also, like you're saying, as you move through each draft, when you're in the last final draft, you're like, who am I talking to really? And you get really specific, which shapes how you edit, because then you're shaping for impact and you're shaping for relationship versus shaping for openings, So it's great. It's so great. And I think one of the places where writers create obstacles for themselves is they write as if they're writing at the end of their writing rather than at the beginning. So they're trying to get super specific. You might be trying to get really specific about the exact person you're writing to and why and blah, 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 but you're just starting. And it's like, let this happen first. Know that question will serve you as you bring it into focus. But yeah, it's good. It's a good question, Mary Beth. You always have the good ones.
All right. So should we go for our prompts now?
We didn't even check in. Yeah. Okay, so before we go into our prompts, let's we always do this thing. You can't get there from there. You can only get there from here. So where are you? Before you hit the page, just take a breath. Take a breath of acknowledgement of this moment, of where you are right now. You're going to dive into some writing tonight. And we offer these reflection prompts for you to self-locate where you might be tonight. Tonight, I'm really motivated to tonight, I'm feeling tonight, I'm aware of tonight, I want All right. So we've got some writing prompts for you. These writing prompts start with a blank, or when we say the word blank, we're asking you to make a choice about who you're talking to. So writing prompt number 1 is blank. I need you to hear this. Blank. I'm sure you can relate to. Is that your alarm?
I'm sorry.
clock?
I'm sorry about that. Something outside. I have no control. I'll mute myself.
Okay. Blank. The thing we connect on is, I'm writing this for all the blank of the world. So that's our invitation for you to write into tonight. We will be back in 90 minutes to check out and see how your Tuesday night went. And happy writing, everybody.